All right, guys, as we know, the Green Bay Packers had their first joint practice of the season yesterday with the Denver Broncos ahead of their second preseason matchup in Denver tomorrow, Sunday night. And the practice didn't go too well for the Green Bay Packers. Not much was working for the offense. There was some highlights to take away from the offense, and there definitely were some more from the defense, but overall, the Denver Broncos had a really nice day of practice, whereas the Packers not so much. So in today's video, powered by BetUS, we're going to be reacting to and breaking down all the highlights and clips we have from this first joint practice. The Packers also have another joint practice next week with the Baltimore Ravens. If you are a new viewer and want to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers this season, I would highly suggest going down and clicking that subscribe button. You won't regret it. You'll find everything you need from highlights, game reactions, live streams, news, and analysis all here on this channel. All right, so we have a ton of clips. I believe filming is allowed during Denver Broncos practice, so we have a lot of 11v11 clips. And since we have so many of them, we're not going to spend much time, and we're just going to kind of go through each one pretty quickly. Here's the Broncos offense with Bo Nix. It's going to be a play action left. You see Lucas Van Ness at the bottom of the screen getting pretty instant pressure on Bo Nix. The key takeaway from this practice, in my opinion, was that the front four guys got a lot of pressure on this Broncos offense, but Bo Nix looked really sharp in this practice. You see him finding a quick pass here over the middle, but nonetheless, good pressure by the Green Bay Packers. Just you'd like to see him kind of cover up those short passes a little bit better. Here's a very impressive play by Bo Nix to outrun Rashawn Gary on that bootleg and find his receiver for a short gain. Rashawn Gary's been, you know, pretty much destroying any tackle he goes up against, and that was the same in this practice. Like, Rashawn Gary had would-be sacks, he pressured the quarterback a lot, but it is a very impressive play here for Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback for the Denver Broncos. He was impressive in the first preseason game. I was impressed by him, and then to see him go out here and in practice, you know, pretty much do well against this new Packers defense, which I want to say a couple things about that. I'm not trying to make a ton of excuses, but it's practice. It's going to be vanilla. Same as the preseason game. It's going to be decently vanilla in terms of what the defense is that's being called for Jeff Hafley. So I'm not too worried about it. Here's another play by the Denver Broncos offense. Just a quick pass over the right side. And that tended to happen a lot in this practice. It's all quick passes, quick checkdowns. There are some other ones, but a lot of the time it was just quick passes that were being completed underneath this Packers defense. Here on this play, you have the Green Bay Packers on the goal line running man coverage. It's going to be a quick slant at the top of the screen with also a pick route from the slot receiver, kind of picking that defender, not allowing the outside defender to come underneath. I think it was Javon Bullard trailing that slant there, and they're in man coverage here, so when there's a pick route like that, it's really hard to kind of follow your guy because you're getting caught up. So, you know, you'd like to see Javon Bullard kind of fight through that pick a little bit better here, or if the Packers kind of have something set up where they can kind of switch. Both of those guys can stay where they're at, staying outside, staying inside, because there's a pick route coming. But that's for in-season type of stuff, right? This is just a practice, but you would like to see Javon Bullard kind of get more physical with that slant there. Here's a really nice play by nickel cornerback Keyshawn Nixon getting downhill on a run play, a toss right. You know, it's practice, so it's really not live tackling, but I'd be willing to bet that Keyshawn Nixon comes up with that tackle on the Broncos running back here. He does make a nice cutback into the middle, but great run defense by the Green Bay Packers. You know, read and react, attacking the ball carrier, and a really nice play made by Keyshawn Nixon there. So those are the defensive clips we have from this practice. Again, the Broncos offense did look good. Bo Nix looked really sharp out there in practice, but to me, a lot of it was quick passes. Like, there were some bigger plays and whatnot, but to me, it was a lot of checkdowns, a lot of quick passes. The Packers defense just has to tighten up on that. And again, it's a vanilla style type of defense. We're not going to see Jeff Hafley bringing a ton of exquisite looks in a joint practice right before a preseason game. You probably won't even see it in the preseason game. And again, I'm not trying to make a ton of excuses. Give the credit where it's due. The Broncos offense did look nice in this practice. Bo Nix, I'm actually very excited for him. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks coming out of this class. So nice to see him, you know, doing well in practice. And I like when other offenses can practice against this Packers defense and kind of shape them a little bit. Allow Jeff Hafley to get an early look at another offense rather than just the normal offense of Jordan Love and their second team offense that they're used to playing in practice. It'll help to do these sort of things because you get more experience before week one. Before we dive into the offensive highlights, I want to give a massive shout out to today's video sponsor and this year's channel sponsor, BetUS, and you can get a 125% deposit match on your first 3 deposits on BetUS with my custom link down below. And that's on your first 3 deposit, guys, up to $2,000. And on BetUS, there are so many different lines to look at, especially before the NFL season. I mean, you can bet on who you think the MVP will be, offensive, defensive rookie, offensive, defensive player, coach of the year. The options are endless. Today, we're looking at the Green Bay Packers winning the NFC North. I've been on the NFC North roundtable for 2 weeks now to start this season, and man, Lions fans are so confident that they're still gonna retain the crown to the NFC North. Just after winning it for the first time ever is crazy to me. I think the Packers will reclaim the NFC North, and they have less odds than the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions nearly 2.5 to 1, where the Packers are just over 3 to 1 odds. So if you want to bet on the Green Bay Packers winning the NFC North, which I believe will happen, and because I do, I'm going to place $50 down, which could win $105. So if I go ahead and place that bet, you guys can tail that or look at all the other lines BetUS has to offer. And of course, use the link down below. Use my custom link to get a 125% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Again, really appreciate BetUS for sponsoring this video. So for this first clip, we have Jordan Love throwing a deep stop route to the left sideline to Romeo Doubs, and it's a little bit of a high ball, but you'd love to see, I believe it's Romeo Doubs out there, you'd love to see him come down with this catch. He's been excellent in terms of a sideline wide receiver, and I think in a normal game sense, he does come down with this. I mean, Jordan Love fired a missile over the left side, and although the Packers offense did struggle, and we'll get into that a little, it was also some personal mistakes, right? Like, this wasn't great defense by the Denver Broncos, more so just a dropped pass by Romeo Doubs. Could have been a little bit lower by Jordan Love, but I do like the timing. I like the throw. I think in a game sense, Doubs comes down with it. Here's a play that's a very interesting concept. It's going to end up being kind of a running back screen with, I believe it's Tyler Davis in front of Josh Jacobs, a very delayed one where Jordan Love kind of scrambles left and just floats the ball over the right side to Josh Jacobs. That's a very interesting concept because it's not a traditional halfback screen. It's just one lead blocker being the tight end in front of Josh Jacobs, allowing all the receivers to get vertical, drag all those defenders out, and then you just have Jacobs and Davis out in front. And I think this goes for a massive gain in a game. And one thing about this practice, at least the key highlight on offense, was Josh Jacobs looked great. I mean, on plenty of run plays, this play as well. Josh Jacobs was having a day in practice. And again, it's not live sessions, but man, I'm so excited for this guy to finally get the pads on week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles and watch him go to work. I'm very excited for him in this Packers offense, especially if they utilize him like this in the screen game. He can be a great receiver. And if this is what gets the Packers screen game going, running it a little bit unorthodox, I'm fine with that because it looks like it would have worked here. I think that would have been a big gain. Here's a play that I've seen heavily circulating on Twitter. It ends up being an interception thrown by Jordan Love because his arm gets ran into. You'll see Zach Tom trying to block against Nick Bonito. And supposedly the Packers had a scuffle with after this, or Matt LaFleur was very upset after this because he thought Nick Bonito hit Jordan Love's arm. And obviously you're not allowed to touch the red jerseys during practice. But after practice, Love said it was actually Zach Tom that hit his arm. So it wasn't Nick Bonito. Impressive rep here by Nick Bonito. Zach Tom being a great right tackle. Nice to see him finally starting to get some team reps here. Obviously got to shake off a little bit of that rust. I'm not worried about Zach Tom at all. But yeah, ended up in an interception. I know, again, the coaches and Matt LaFleur were upset about this at the time, but as you could see, I don't know, it kind of looks like Nick Bonito swiped his hand out and did touch Jordan Love's arm. I'm sure both of them hit Jordan Love, but you guys let me know what you think down in the comments. If you watch the right arm of Nick Bonito, it looks like it does hit Jordan Love. Is it bad? No, it's definitely not, but it does end up in an interception here in this practice. Here's a clip of Jordan Love firing a ball across the middle to none other than Dontavian Wicks, who you guys know we've been extremely high on, been talking about him a lot this season. The camera doesn't pan over too quick, but it's still a great throw across the middle. That's what I noticed in this practice as well, man. Jordan Love was putting some heat under these footballs, and I think he found Dontavian Wicks the most out of all wide receivers in this practice, and I think that's going to be a connection that continues into the season. I mean, you guys know how much belief I have in Dontavian Wicks and this offense, so nice to see it continue in training camp. Obviously, week 1 of that first preseason game, that 65-yard touchdown pass, and nice to see it here against the Denver Broncos defense. Here's going to be a nice shot play by the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be play action action. Jordan Love, A.J. Dillon. Kadeem Telford looks like at right tackle. Almost gets beat. Jordan Love does a nice job climbing the pocket. Airs it out to Christian Watson, who's being held by the defensive back. And you can see the flag thrown late in that play. This is going to be, something that happens a lot this season, right? Play action, shot play. Christian Watson, one-on-one. Can he come up with the football? And I think if he's not held there, I think Watson does come up under that football. There is a safety over the middle that does kind of contest it, but it is a hold on the defensive back, and I think Watson would have definitely scored here. So that's something to take note of out of this practice as well. Like, the Packers should have scored here, but it ended up being a holding on the defensive back. Very excited for Christian Watson in this year as well. He's been practicing very well, it seems. Him and Jordan Love have been connecting a lot of practices for a lot of deep balls, which is great. I mean, we know how much of a threat Christian Watson can be in the deep game. Here in this clip, we have some pony package action. It's going to be play action, orbit, motion, throw to Josh Jacobs. I love this. I know the pony package wasn't that successful for the Green Bay Packers with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, but I still like to see it, having both of these running backs out here, especially if we're calling pre-snap orbit motion with then basically a RPO with A.J. Dillon throw out to Josh Jacobs, and I think you see Jaden Reed down there. I mean, holding that block for a very long time. I'm not sure if that's Jaden Reed. Yes, I think it is Jaden Reed. Both receivers, I think it was Reed and a tight end, might have been Musgrave out there holding blocks. You love to see it. I like this play design. I love orbit motion. I think it could be utilized well, especially with someone like Josh Jacobs here. Here on this play, we'll have Jordan Love finding Luke Musgrave over the middle, and it all starts with a cheat motion by Jaden Reed, most likely into a deep dig. I would assume that's a deep dig there. Then you see Luke Musgrave come across the middle, cross the face of the inside linebacker, and just get wide open. And this is a little bit of a deception play by the Green Bay Packers, is why I love it, right? Your eyes are on Jaden Reed. He's running a cheat motion. There's other levels concepts on the left side of the field. The safety probably has his eyes on Jaden Reed, and all Luke Musgrave has to do is come across the face of the linebacker who's in that middle zone and find that open zone and get wide open, which he does. I mean, the linebacker's completely lost. This is going to happen a lot in 2024. You'll just see other things happening where their defense is so preoccupied, and then you'll just see Luke Musgrave or Tucker Kraft wide open in the middle of the field. You love to see it. I have high hopes for both of these tight ends here in 2024. So those are all the notable clips I have from this Green Bay Packers first joint practice. Again, the offense generally struggled. To end practice, the offense had 2 shots to go down and score, and on the first one, they went 4 and out, and on the second one, they also went 4 and out and didn't gain many yards. The Denver defense is no joke. They have a lot of ball players on that defense, but I'm not worried about the Packers offense. I know what Jordan Love, this offensive talent, is capable of, and I get why some people could be concerned, but I'm not worried at all. It's practice. There's a lot of vanilla play calls, and I have complete faith in Jordan Love, so I'm not worried when I see like one bad pass against the Denver Broncos defense in a joint practice. Of course, the Packers play the Denver Broncos tomorrow, Sunday night. I'll be live here on this channel doing a live reaction and watch party, so definitely come out and join the live stream, say what's up. It'll be a blast to finally get back into the groove of things, live streaming during Packers games. So you guys should definitely come by. But I appreciate you guys coming by to the channel. Again, go check out BetUS with the link down in the description to receive your 125% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.